at a very strict only girls' boarding school. Instead of classes, the boarding school consists of levels. Each girl, when intellectually suitable, is moved to the next level. Vivian, a bright young girl at level 10, promises her friend Sophia that she will try to get them both adopted by the same family. One day, while doing their nightly routine of washing their faces in front of the camera, Sophia's jar falls just as it's Vivian's turn. As Sophia has trouble finding it due to her bad eyesight, Vivian goes to help her. But while doing this, she gets 1 minute late and gets dragged by 2 guards, and no one helps her, despite her cries for help. Years later, as they have grown up in the school, they attend a class on cleanliness when the TV suddenly shuts off. Now stoic and serious, Vivian insists on waiting for the bell before leaving the room. The next morning, they learn they will be moving to level 16, the final stage of their stay at Vestalis Academy. They are escorted by a guard into one of the 4 halls: Rose, Lily, Iris, and Violet. Vivian and Ava are moved to Rose Hall and meet the girls living there. Vivian declares that every hall has a top girl and she will be in this hall. Sophia, who happens to be in the same hall, tries to say hi to Vivian, but Vivian ignores her. They take their vitamins and go to eat. Vivian goes for a washroom break. When she opens the door, she finds Sophia standing before her. Sophia attempts to explain the incident from level 10, where she was too scared to admit it was her fault Vivian was late for the nightly routine. Still, Vivian quickly locks her in the room, warning her never to disclose that Vivian is considered unclean and has been punished. Sophia assures Vivian that she had no intention of betraying her and simply wishes to apologize. The bell rings, gathering everyone for an assembly. Miss Brixel, the only teacher at the school, announces that level 16 girls will receive dresses as a reward for their good behavior, as wealthy families will soon adopt them. They are given dresses with their names on them, but they can't read them. They hang dresses and imagine a life where they can breathe fresh air and see the moon. Soon the doors get locked and the lights off. While Vivian is doing laundry, Sophia asks to switch chores with Olivia so she can work with Vivian. Sophia advises Vivian not to take the vitamins before meals. Before Sophia can explain why, Ava calls for Vivian's help. Ava suggests that Sophia might be unclean, but Vivian warns her never to say that about anyone. She also tells Ava that they can't be friends in a place like this, so she shouldn't expect Vivian to be her friend. Later that night, Vivian uses her hairpin to mark the number of days she has been in level 16. Vivian calls out for Ava, but Sophia responds, explaining that the girls never wake up because the vitamins keep them asleep. Sophia instructs Vivian to pretend to be asleep if the guards come and to call for Sophia if she needs help. Vivian is shocked, as guards are not allowed in the sleeping halls, but the doors open and guards enter. Both girls feign sleep as Miss Brixel orders the guards to take Vivian and another girl downstairs, placing them in chairs. Miss Brixel enters with an elderly couple who chooses to purchase Olivia, the other girl. Vivian is returned to her bed, and Rita is taken downstairs. Vivian confides in Sophia that the sponsors are interested in something other than adopting. They want to buy them. Sophia insists that Vivian underestimates the situation and still doesn't fully comprehend what has happened. She urges Vivian that they need to escape to the outside. However, Vivian informs Sophia they can't leave because the air outside is poisonous. As they discuss this, Miss Brixel enters again, prompting both girls to pretend to be deeply asleep. This time they take away Sophia. Vivian tries to go out, but she is short on time. She hides before Miss Brixel returns to drop the girls on their beds. She gets back in her bed, and Sophia is brought back to her bed. The next day, Sophia reveals to Vivian that she stopped taking vitamins at level 13. They meet a doctor administering a flu vaccine for a prevalent illness in one of the halls. Later that night, Vivian asks Sophia about the blue pills. Sophia explains that they are given those pills when patrons visit, which is the only time the doors unlock. She informs Vivian that all the halls are on the same floor and follow similar routines, except during the dark hour when no movement is allowed. They need to find a way to navigate during that time. Sophia suggests informing other girls, but Vivian believes it will only cause more trouble. Vivian visits the doctor's office, claiming she wants to discuss something with him. She asks if he can play a movie about Vivian Lee, the famous actress she is named after. During playtime with the other girls, one suddenly starts vomiting and shaking. Vivian requests water for the girl and tells Ava to be quiet when she expresses fear of getting infected. Sophia notices Vivian's swollen arm and attributes it to the vaccine, but reminds her that no one is on their side. She warns Vivian not to trust the doctor. Sophia reveals that the guard that limps enters during the dark hour and behaves inappropriately with the girls while they sleep. The bell rings, and the girls are shifted to the theater room. They watch the movie, and Vivian recognizes it with a smile. Later, during her regular checkup, the doctor asks Vivian if she enjoyed the movie. She rambles on about how fascinating she found it. The doctor informs her that he has another vaccine for her that day, and Vivian hesitates. She tells him that some girls have experienced issues with the vaccines. He asks her to report it to Miss Brixel, and Vivian accidentally reveals that Miss Brixel works with the guards. Shocked, the doctor asks if she has been taking the vitamins. Vivian confirms she has, and the doctor explains that anger leads to hysteria and that good girls should fear it. He decides to administer a concentrated dose, as her behavior normally warrants calling the guards, but he will stop at a heavier dose. Due to the intense dose, Vivian hallucinates and struggles to walk. Sophia informs her that shiny cards open the doors, and the guards possess them. However, Vivian fears the guards, believing they only inflict harm. As a result of Vivian's hysterical reaction, Ava reports unclean behavior, thinking the infected Vivian could spread her contamination. Suddenly, everyone is called for an assembly, and Miss Brixel takes Vivian. She warns Vivian that physical punishment is her last resort, and if Vivian misbehaves, she will be locked up until her graduation. Miss Brixel retreats to her office, and soon after, the doctor enters her room. They discuss the arrival of a new batch of girls, but Miss Brixel expresses concern about their limited resources. Miss Brixel mentions that they had planned to stop after 3 years. Miss Brixel reveals that the girls are mostly sedated, except for 5 hours every day. She informs the doctor that she has to lock up the girl he drugged. As night falls, Sophia creates a rope, and when the guard enters the room, she attacks him, shouting for him to stay away from the girls. Sophia tries to escape, but she remembers Vivian and goes to unlock her door. However, the guard catches hold of Vivian and begins to choke her. In a desperate move, Vivian grabs an iron and strikes the guard's head, rendering him unconscious. As Sophia is about to open Vivian's door, the alarms start ringing. Vivian pleads for Sophia not to leave her again, but Sophia leaves. Miss Brixel arrives and calls for an assembly, taking Vivian with her. She accuses Sophia of stealing something valuable and warns that if the item is found in the possession of any other girl, they will all suffer consequences. She demands that the girls identify the culprit, but no one speaks up. In response, Dr. William suggests punishing a girl daily until the item is returned. William gives Miss Brixel a pill, which she feeds the girls by hand. Vivian feels extremely dizzy due to the pill, but she pricks her hand with a pin to stay awake. She searches for the hidden card Sophia possessed and finds it near her bedside, where she craved the days spent on a level. Vivian attempts to open the door using the card but fails. In frustration, she screams and bangs her head against the door. Suddenly, an idea strikes her, and she unscrews the door using the card. As she proceeds, she encounters Miss Brixel sitting at a table. Miss Brixel fills an injection with a drug and calls Vivian to sit. However, Vivian demands to know where Sophia is. Miss Brixel attacks Vivian, but Vivian quickly retaliates by smashing a lamp against her head. She ties Miss Brixel up and heads upstairs. Despite her chance to escape, Vivian returns downstairs to free Sophia. She sneaks in and takes Sophia with her. Hiding from a guard, they enter a room filled with medical instruments, and Sophia questions its purpose. Vivian cuts Sophia's ties, and as they explore further, they come across beds behind plastic curtains. Reading one of the labels, Vivian discovers it belonged to Rita, the girl taken downstairs for punishment earlier. They unzip the plastic cover and find Rita's lifeless body inside. Vivian and Sophia reach the gate, and Sophia instructs Vivian to wait there while she goes to save the other girls. Sophia believes the captors will harm the remaining girls if they try to escape. Meanwhile, Vivian decides to leave and escape the horrors they have endured, but she will wait for Sophia. Sophia heads to the girls on level 13 and convinces them that Miss Brixel sent her. As Vivian notices a guard approaching, she goes downstairs to investigate their true intentions. In a room, Vivian finds a television playing an advertisement for the Vestalis Clinic, which alters older women's faces to make them look young. She realizes the girls are being sold, and their faces removed before being killed. The clinic disguises these actions as synthetic genome therapy to maintain youthful beauty. Sophia attempts to persuade the girls that this place is not a school, but they refuse to believe her. Just in time, Vivian arrives with a bound Miss Brixel and demands that she confess her crimes. Miss Brixel denies killing anyone, claiming she only believed Dr. William was brilliant. Vivian and Sophia lock her up and proceed toward the exit. Vivian instructs Sophia to gather the girls from the other levels. However, Ava opens the door, triggering an alarm, and the girls from the 16th level rush downstairs. A guard pursues Vivian, but Sophia gets injured trying to save her. They all manage to escape outside, but find themselves surrounded by guards. Vivian and Sophia barricade themselves in a room. Still, Dr. William arrives and tries to manipulate them, justifying his actions by claiming he saved the girls from poverty and exploitative parents. Vivian refutes his claims, asserting she is just like the other girls. She confronts him about the value of her face, and he says 16 years, to which she takes a scalpel and begins cutting her face, causing the doctor great pain. The guards inform William that their boss wants to see him, and he hurriedly leaves. Later, the police break down the door, and paramedics are called to attend to the 2 survivors. As they step outside, Vivian and Sophia witness rain and sunshine for the first time, finally free from their harrowing ordeal.